Therefore, today, ladies and gentlemen, as we honor Frank Kalimuzo's legacy, we must commit ourselves to carrying forward his legacy of service excellence. And as Professor Barnabas Nawangwe continuously tells us, we must continue to build for the future by embracing the principles that defined Frank Kalimuzo's leadership. Like most of us, given the chance to serve in a public office, we need to serve. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to serve Makerere University Business School, and I will serve to my very best. And we must aim to serve and not to be served. That's the lesson from Mr. Kalimuzo. This must define our approach. I want to conclude that Frank Kalimuzo's life teaches us that public service is not a career choice, it is a calling, a commitment to using one's talents, position, and influence to advance the common good. His example clearly shows that it is possible to maintain integrity. It is impossible to maintain integrity, to drive innovation, and to achieve excellence even within imperfect systems. As we face the challenges of this century, we need public institutions that are fit for purpose, and therefore leaders who understand that their primary responsibility is to serve, not to be served. We need to leave some legacy when we are out of our institutions, so that we also celebrate it. We should be brave. As public servants, we learn that Mr. Kalimuzo kept brave even after the disappearance of other prominent personalities. He could have run away from the country. He kept here. As a leader, you should not be the first person to panic. If you're a leader and you panic, then what about the others you're leading? You don't need, and let me tell you, from Mr. Kalimuzo's story, you don't need many years to create impact. Mr. Kalimuzo didn't stay long at Makerere University, but his impact is on the world. So given an opportunity, do your best. There are challenges, but someone must come up. In every system, there will be challenges, but somebody must come up and sacrifice for the others. So when you are serving, don't be distracted. Offer skilled leadership, execution, even in the middle of the storm. That's what Mr. Kalimuzo did. As we play around with politics, ladies and gentlemen, we should promote peace. And as educated class, we should be good examples. We should appreciate the freedom of speech that the country has provided. Professor Kanyehamba at one time was saved by Mr. Kalimuzo because they had included a statement in the manuscript that the military was unfit to govern. He was saved by Mr. Kalimuzo. Frank Kalimuzo was not merely an academic administrator. When you hear the stories and the literature, no. He was a servant leader whose life exemplified the highest ideas of public service. And as Professor Joy Kwesiga eloquently recalled, when he arrived at Makerere University in 1970, he made it clear in his inaugural address to Makerere University community that he was going to work like a donkey to make Makerere University what it should be. And here we are. We are proud of Makerere University. This is the legacy. This powerful declaration summarizes the essence of Kalimuzo's approach to public service, the commitment to build a nation, and with humility. To him, service was a calling, not just a job. Ladies and gentlemen, it seems this story, this good example, Mr. Kalimuzo, has long changed. The narrative has changed perhaps for us who serve, who are not up to this kind of situation. we witness the following. One, erosion of public trust. Citizens increasingly view public institutions with skepticism, questioning their commitment to genuine service rather than self-interest. And this is manifested in dishonesty, in manipulation, and withholding information. We witness bureaucratic inefficiency, lengthy approval procedures, the common red tape, systematic delays that frustrate rather than facilitate public service delivery. We also witness corruption and rent-seeking, the transformation of public office from a platform for service into an avenue for personal enrichment. This is common, and worse still, the service recipients are not empowered to demand services due to them at a particular standard. We witness lack of innovation, especially in the contemporary world. Resistance to change and modernization leaves institutions obsolete in rapidly evolving societies. We also witness disconnect from purpose. Public servants who have lost sight of their fundamental mission to serve the people and advance the common good, they are lost. Frank Kalimuzo's approach to public service offers us a blueprint for institutional transformation. And Professor Kwesiga's intimate observations of his leadership style reveal several key principles that define authentic service-oriented leadership. And I want to mention a few of these principles that are quoted from Mr. Kalimuzo's practice. One, service before self. Mr. Kalimuzo consistently demonstrated that effective public service requires placing the institutional objectives above personal ambitions. When faced with unprecedented resistance from the various quarters, from academics who questioned his credentials to those who opposed political appointees in university leadership, Mr. Kalimuzo responded not with defensiveness, but with dedication to proving himself through the service. And as Professor Kwesiga noted, armed with his previous experience and dedication to duty as a civil servant, Mr. Kalimuzo came to Makerere University, ready to perform the institution to transform the institution despite the challenges that were at the time. The second principle is deep institutional knowledge and continuous learning. It's a very, very important virtue in leadership even today. Mr. Kalimuzo understood that effective leadership requires intimate knowledge of the institution. And from the previous public lecture, Professor Kwesiga observed that Mr. Kalimuzo quickly went out of his way first to understand the governance and structures of Makerere University. He spent evenings in the office reading previous reports, all minutes of Senate and Council and all documents. He read them. This dedication to understanding every aspect of the institution, from governance structures to faculty dynamics to student issues, exemplifies the intellectual rigor required for transformational leadership. The third principle, ladies and gentlemen, is relationship building and inclusive leadership. Perhaps the most remarkable issue Mr. Kalimuzo excelled at was building bridges across diverse constituencies. Professor Kwesiga recalled how he quickly devised ways of establishing rapport with the critical mass of the student community at that time, and how he would once in a while drop in at the senior staff club, take a beer, but mainly converse with staff in their more relaxed mode. His willingness to engage with all levels of the university community, from participating in student sports to dancing at social gatherings, these demonstrate authentic servant leadership. The fourth principle is about mentorship and human development. This is very important even today. Mentorship is important for capacity development. We gather that Mr. Kalimuzo's mentorship by President Obote gave him a lot of confidence and competence to approach his work. He was deeply committed to developing others, and all of you leaders present, I want to appeal to you, provide space for your subordinates to grow. This is very, very fundamental in leadership. The fifth principle, ladies and gentlemen, is courage and principled leadership. Mr. Kalimuzo demonstrated remarkable courage in standing up for institutional integrity. When he was faced with political pressure, he maintained his principles. And Professor Kwesiga noted that when one of the ministers of education decided, seemingly out of nowhere, to promote 2 members of staff to professorship, Mr. Kalimuzo could not keep quiet. He advised the minister in writing to consult before taking such drastic decisions. I don't know how many of us can do this. I don't know whether I can do that, but he did it. That's courage. Courage is important. And the story is documented of how he asked President Obote, when the president was annoyed, but he asked him to just forgive an academician and let Picho Ali, who had written something that had annoyed him. This courage to speak truth to power, even at personal risk at that time, exemplifies the moral backbone required for authentic public service. The sixth principle is patriotism. The academia who are here, we need to support government programs. In 1969, President Obote announced the move to the left policy. Mr. Kalimuzo led the intelligentsia to convince the rest of the country of its merits. While presiding over the opening of the Mengo North-East Constituency Seminar at Kabanyoro in Gayaza, Mr. Kalimuzo urged that turning to the ideals of the move to the left strategy was not merely an academic pursuit, but rather a practical one that was required for Uganda. So it is important that we support our government programs, because when we talk, people seem to believe the parish development model and all these. I think Makerere University must go and inform the people down there that it is important. There is a terminology called organizational citizenship behavior. And I want to challenge all of us. Can we do the right thing when no one is watching? Can you still do the right thing when there is no auditor general to audit your books of accounts? When there is no IGG? When there is no CID? Can we go beyond our employment contracts? How do you leave, for example, how do you leave office at exactly 5 p.m.? How do you know it is exactly 5 p.m.? I always tell my administrators in my office, at 5 p.m. they're saying, sir, it's time to go home. And I ask them, how have you known it is 5? It means the previous 30 minutes, you are simply watching the clock. So it is important that we get out of the contract we have to do something additional to the country. And I'm convinced that Mr. Kalimuzo worked beyond average to put together a new university from that humble beginning to the great Makerere we celebrate today. This is the other principle number 7, is transformational vision. Mr. Kalimuzo's leadership was characterized by a clear vision of institutional transformation. transforming the University of East Africa into the Ugandan own university, which Mr. Kalimuzo did, must have been a tough task. He did it and did it well. He understood that Makerere needed to evolve from being an elite institution disconnected from the Ugandan society to becoming a truly national university that had to serve the people. Even in his brief tenure, he introduced new academic programs, including commerce, forestry, law, and technology, demonstrating his commitment to making the university more responsive to national needs. And for us from Makerere University Business School, we are proud that BCom started during his time. This is why we did BCom. Ladies and gentlemen, drawing from Mr. Kalimuzo's example and contemporary best practices, I propose several strategies for building a robust culture of service in our public institutions. One, relationship building across all levels. Mr. Kalimuzo's success in establishing rapport with critical mass of the student community and his ability to connect with staff at all levels provides a model for inclusive leadership. Modern leaders must create formal and informal opportunities for engagement, ensuring that all voices are heard and are valued. Professor Gumayo mentions that despite his rich academic background, he was educated in Nyakasura Powerful School, King's College Budo. He went to Britain. I must say here that Mr. Kalimuzo narrowly missed going to Ontari School. I think the acting vice chancellor, my old boy at Ontari School, will agree with me. Mr. Kalimuzo, even after going through those powerful institutions, kept modest and related well with juniors. He did not come along with class feelings of the British. And Professor Gumayo quotes that he learned two things, that he learned discipline and he learned management. What a sermon for us as leaders. So all those of you leaders who are proud, those of you who operate from the crowds, if you're operating from up there in the crowds, come back, we are here on earth. I must tell you that humility is not a weakness, it is a strength. Mentorship as a core leadership function. Following Mr. Kalimuzo's approach of providing space for others to learn and developing staff capabilities, leaders should put mentorship at the center. This means creating growth opportunities, providing constructive feedback, and investing in the development of future leaders. Performance management systems aligned with public service outcomes. Our institutions should develop performance measurement systems that prioritize service delivery outcomes over bureaucratic processes. This means establishing clear service standards, measuring citizenship satisfaction, and creating accountability mechanisms that reward excellence in service delivery. Each institution should have a service charter, and you should promise your clients what you intend to give them, what you may not give them, what you will give them at some other time, so that they hold you accountable if you don't do that. The other one I propose is innovation and digital transformation, especially in the contemporary world. Following Mr. Kalimuzo's commitment to continuous improvement, we must embrace technological innovation to enhance service delivery. Digital platforms can reduce bureaucratic delays, increase transparency, and improve citizen access to public services. And the current trend of artificial intelligence data analytics must be taken seriously. I think Makerere University is up to date. Stakeholder engagement and participatory governance. Effective public institutions should create meaningful opportunities for stakeholder participation and decision-making processes. This includes regular consultations, feedback mechanisms, and transparent communication about institutional priorities and performance. It's important, for example, university managers, that we involve our colleagues, management, staff, students, stakeholders in what we are doing. Continuous professional development is another one. Like Mr. Kalimuzo did, public servants must be committed to lifelong learning. Institutions must invest in ongoing training, exposure to best practices, and opportunities for professional growth that enhance service delivery capabilities. And as leaders in higher education, we have that special responsibility, Mr. Vice Chancellor, to cultivate service-oriented leadership. Mubs, which I'm privileged to lead, must be at the forefront of this transformation. We could integrate service leadership into our curricula, ensuring that our learners get to understand their responsibilities, not only as future public servants, but also a workforce committed to transforming their communities and nation. We should create experiential learning opportunities that expose students to real-world public service challenges. Our research output should inform policy and practice in public institutions. Most importantly, we must model the service culture we seek to promote. Our institutional practices, leadership approaches, and stakeholder relationships must exemplify the highest standards of public service. The other issue is about workplace culture and style of leadership. The style of leadership will have influence on service quality. Set an example and leave it. It starts from the top. If the leader gets lost, the followers will get lost. I studied in Netherlands and would see people with t-shirts. Behind they would write, "Don't follow me, I'm also lost." So you will take the whole movement to a bush if you get lost. Frank Kalimuzo said that democracy was no more than the implementation of the will of the people. We must purpose to make a positive workplace culture to foster a motivated, engaged, and high-performing inclusive workforce. So ladies and gentlemen, I now turn to the family. What a challenge. Aunt Esther and the children to lose a dear one at that tender age. The children, why don't you stand and we appreciate you for keeping that legacy. Thank you so much. Thank you, you may sit. I know Mama Esther is a true Christian. In fact, we go to the same service at All Saints Cathedral. Keeping the family, these children, up to this time must be God's grace. It is God's story. Thank you, and thank you so much, Aunt Esther, for keeping the faith. In Revelation chapter 2, verse 10, remain faithful up to the end, and I will give you the crown of life. We shall continue to pray for you and your family. Thank you so much for listening. May God bless you all.